Well, you hear his voice throughout the day on AZTV7 and occasionally. I refer to him as Mr. Announcer as he takes us into breaks. And Pat McMahon sits down with our amazing, award-winning, very handsome, and I will tell you, all-around great guy, multi-talented, and more, director in today's Let Me Introduce You.
So this is the part where I say I'd like to introduce you to, and in this case I can't fake any lack of familiarity because I work with Mike Petrie all the time because he's a director here at TV7, but it's who you were and have been for a long time that I want to talk about, and that is as a teacher of what, how long, and where.
Wait, I thought this interview was about coffee and my enormous amounts that everybody drinks around here every morning.
We only have 5 minutes
before we put the show on. No, Pat, what was the question again, Pat?
I've lost track.
Esteemed?
All I can
like
tell,
that.
All I can tell you is,
Right.
is the audience right now is interested in the academic part of your life.
Right. And see, what I have spent a lot of time doing is I worked in the business for a long time. I still work in the business. But there was also an opportunity to teach people what it is we do in this film, television, radio, multimedia business. So I was able to, unlike a lot of people, but I get to meet people when they're at a certain stage in their life where they're saying, do I follow my passion or do I do what's practical?
Your students.
Students or potential students coming in, that type of thing. And it's interesting, over 30 years, how you start to see people that actually follow what they're passionate about and then watch where they end up and become very successful because there's that internal passion that drives them to keep doing what they're doing.
Have you taught all facets of media, the production end of it, behind the camera and performance?
Yeah, all of it. Radio, television, in front of the camera, behind the camera. In fact, if you walked around our studio here, you would find people that have come through the different programs. There was the Academy of Radio and Television, which is in California. It was here for a while. And then there was Alpha Pacific Institute, which is here as well.
But 30 years of teaching this business that changes by the minute, is anything the same as when you started?
It's exactly the same, Pat.
Really?
It's exactly the same because if you look at the motion picture and video and you go online right now, there it is. That multimedia just keeps going on and on and on. People think through pictures. They're exposed to pictures and that's what influences them. And that whole aspect just keeps getting larger and larger. So, it's kind of interesting. Some people will say, well, am I passionate about something? Anybody that's watching this right now can go to a time in their life where something happened and it piqued their passion. I know it's kind of a cliche term. Mine was, I was at a county fair back in Wheaton, Illinois, the DuPage County Fair. And they had a big blue screen. I'm just a little kid, but they have this big blue screen with 2 chairs sitting up there, and then these giant TV cameras. You remember the big cameras. They weren't little GoPros, right? And they had the screen on, the television, and you could see WGN coming out of Chicago, whatever programming they had at the time. So I'm watching this as a kid, and all of a sudden, these people come out of this trailer looking perfect, kind of like you and I. Right.
I can understand the similarity.
They sit in the chairs. They sit in the chairs against this blue screen, and then all of a sudden somebody cues them. They start talking, but I look at the TV monitor, and those 2 people are sitting above the midway of the fair. So as a kid, you're sitting there going, well, how are they doing with the blue screen, but yet on TV they're sitting above the midway at the fair? That's where my passion just went.
And that's how come you see...
and you spend your life trying to figure out that question.
But you see anchor people and so on
right.
In front of the Eiffel Tower, even though they're in a studio somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, but are kids better prepared now than they were when you first started shooting, or you started teaching? Because they have been on television in grade school with the system that they had
Right.
in their school and high school and so on.
Yeah.
Are they better prepared to go into
Well,
business?
you know, I think they're very well prepared for making music videos because from what I've seen, usually that's about all they come out with is music videos and very, what's missing is being able to create the type of product that will make them money and put food on the table. So you take your passion and then you monetize it or put it into some sort of practical use, i.e. making money with it somewhere.
Right now, there are parents who
Don't listen to that guy.
who have
I want you to be
children.
a nice doctor or a lawyer.
They've already said, I want to do radio, I want to do television.
Right, right.
One final question for a brief answer.
Sure.
Would you recommend this to most families as a career?
I would recommend to anybody, no matter what your age is figure out what your passion is and then do your humanly best to develop that. I'm not saying to follow it, but to take it with you. So if you're going to be a banker, but if you love that photography and that's what you're passionate about, develop that over here because you have no idea where it's going to take you.
And if it winds up with you in a television studio in Phoenix, Arizona, you know what? One day somebody might knock on the door of your office and say, hey, you want to do this interview thing with me? It's called Let Me Introduce You To. And he's called Pat McMahon.